right, so we're here with Andrew from Deity.
What's going on?
I'm a big Deity fan. I have an article, depending on when you watch this, coming out, or it's out, about the smart slate that came out last year that we covered. There's a video of us actually talking to you from, I want to say Cinegear, about that, as long as the timecode boxes, which I've owned, are amazing.
Box right here.
Setting the timecode with your phone and having them all say, I just love it so much. And the slate's really high quality if you haven't checked it. But that's not what we're talking about today. We have very exciting things to talk about. Well, that's exciting too, but new exciting things.
We launched a brand new UHF wireless system with timecode, 32-bit float backup recorder built into the transmitter. It's a dual channel receiver. I've got it rigged up right here. It's got SMA antenna ports, so we actually have a shark fin up top that we can actually wire into this bag. So I've got whips, I've got shark fin options. You have so many great options that weren't really available to the average kind of consumer of wireless goods, and we wanted to make them available. We wanted to also do some other cool things, like you really like the TC1 and the Slate. You probably love the phone app.
Yeah, love it.
So the phone app is going to control all of this. It's also going to handle your frequency coordination. It's going to handle your frequency scanning. So once you pair channels up, they stay paired. You'll launch your app, you'll run coordination. If you want to deploy a bunch of wireless and you don't want to do the math of figuring out where the frequencies are clean and where they won't intermod, the software takes care of it all for you.
So the thing, apps can be finicky. So far, your guys' app has never screwed up on me.
We got a great dev team over there with the Citus team.
Yeah, and that's awesome. We were just talking to another company about doing that exact thing, much pricier than, I mean, I assume these aren't as expensive as their thing, but
we like to think they're Deity priced.
Yeah,
that's all we're going to say about price.
They're Deity priced. But being able to control everything remotely without having to track down your talent and go,
Absolutely.
oh, I need to turn down give me the thing, the gain's too high, I need to change the frequency.
Right, and then you got to dress the wire again, hide the pack.
Right.
250 feet of range to get into there, change settings as they need to change, and then you're back doing your normal thing. If that means running camera, running your sound mixer, or just helping out on set.
So good. And also another thing I appreciate, first of all, these are metal.
Oh yeah, it's CNC'd aluminum out of a couple of blocks that then get bolted together.
Yeah, it feels incredibly high quality. Also, something I really appreciate, AA's. The wireless system we're currently using, this came out today, otherwise we'd be using this. But the system we're using today is USB-C only. Battery lasts a long time, but if they're dead, they're dead.
This also has USB-C for external power. So if you want to plug it into a bag and then run USB-C over to it for an IFB or a camera hop, you can do that.
Okay.
You can receiver, if you're running it on camera and you've got like brick batteries, you could also pop that over for extra battery life.
Right.
But if you're also running lithium AA batteries, up to 14 hours of runtime.
What are the common lithium? Because these are not Pro Cell, these are regular.
No, these are regular. Yeah.
What are the lithium ones, like
Energizer Max?
The silver ones?
Yeah. Lithium Max, I don't know.
The other thing I really appreciate, do these come stock with this?
They will, yes.
So look at how, we'll B-roll it, but just
it's also waterproof. You know, because you're a sweaty boy.
Of course it is. I am a sweaty boy.
I'm a sweaty boy too. And that will prevent it from getting nasty and gunky. So if you want to dunk this like in rubbing alcohol to sterilize it after it's been on talent, you're not going to destroy your microphone.
But also like, what is it? This is like DPA sized.
This is 4 millimeters. We also make another one that is 3 millimeters. I mean, it is ultra sub miniature.
I will absolutely hunt you guys down so I can do a review article on these, because I am very excited. And then the receiver.
The receiver's in the bag. I'll pull it out. It's the same size.
Awesome.
But it's a 2-channel receiver. So you can do 2 transmitters to 1 unit.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah. I think that's probably necessary.
That's absolutely necessary.
And the runtime on these, regular batteries was like?
It's anywhere between like 7.5 to 10 hours, depending on what you've got turned on.
Awesome. I mean, if you can do over 6, I'm pretty happy, you know. Same with that, I assume?
Same with this.
Awesome.
And then
you have that shark fin. I was about to ask what that is.
And then what's just also really nice about it is little oddities that we kind of thought about. Like if you're running 4 of these, you color code them. So on the actual things, you'll see like little red dots, purple dots, all these kinds of things. So from a distance on that bright colored screen, I can know what they're all marked as. Okay, so the other thing we're launching today is the PR2. This is our pocket recorder, and the reason why it's called 2 isn't because there was a Mark 1 that you guys missed. It's stereo. This will record stereo microphones 2 lavaliers. This will work as great for B-roll if you're trying to do sound effects and Foley work in the field or on a stage. 32-bit float.
Wonderful.
So if you're trying to do a mobile podcast and put 2 lavs on people, you can do a mobile podcast. It's super easy.
Yep.
All in this compact form. 2 AA batteries. Again, you're going to love that, right?
Yep.
Micro SD card up to 128 gigabytes, just like the transmitter. 30 hours of battery life.
Great. That'll work.
You need that, right? Like, it's good enough.
That's last year weekend.
And that's important because
absolutely.
as a wedding shooters out there know, you start on Friday night, you do some kind of ceremonies, you've got all day Saturday, you may have a brunch on Sunday. You're not thinking about this.
Right.
You're just getting good audio at 32-bit float. And then that way you don't have to worry about your gain staging and you don't have to worry about your battery. This thing also locks down when it's recording, so you can lock it all up. So once you put it in someone's pocket, it's not coming undone.
Right.
And then you can still monitor it from your phone up to 20 devices. So it's like you can deploy these out on a wedding
Can
thing.
you monitor? You mean just monitor the status?
I can monitor, the
Okay.
status.
For a second, I thought you were like, and you can listen in on your.
Yeah,
phone.
you can monitor battery life, status, settings, anything like that. And that way you can really make sure everything is just going smoothly for your production. And if you're a wedding shooter, you can get back to doing the things you want to do, like shoot and be a cinematographer and really tell the bride and groom's story, and not have to worry about little things like this.
Because that's what I was going to say. Like, the nice thing that I'm enjoying about this is, as a cinematographer, I often am also the director and producer of smaller gigs, corporate gigs.
Sure, I mean, corporate video out there, it's one-man band kind of operation, and audio is like the last thing you have to worry about. You're setting up lights, you're setting up camera, and then you're like, oh, I need to set up audio.
It's the last thing everything DP thinks of, and it's the first thing that will kill your
Plus, it's one of those things that when you're building out your camera bag, you're like, I'm gonna put my camera here, I'm gonna bring 3 lenses, I got backup lenses, and then I've got batteries, and I need to put on my pocket light for on camera, and it's like, I got this one little lens cup this big, I'm gonna dedicate that to my audio.
Yeah.
And you could probably shove like a ton of these in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's still fantastic, and even though it's a little bit bigger than the competitors on the market, we feel it's still a good size for what it's able to achieve.
So this does not have a clip on it.
It has a clip that goes over it, like a sleeve,
Okay. Gotcha.
and that way you can do it, and that way it also seals up over that battery.
Awesome. Okay.
So the battery is double protected then.
And then I could also see, so stereo recording, single input.
Single input, so it's a stereo TRS. So there's lavaliers on the market that have like 2 lavs that come down to a Y.
Okay.
You could use that for like a podcast if you want.
Well, that's what I was actually.
Or AB, like doing it's like a symphony. You can put them 3 feet apart on a pole, put a little recorder, and now you can do some field recording and record music that way to get a nice stereo AB kind of setup.
Right. I was going to say too, like if you could, when you mentioned podcast, I was imagining you could like get microphone, like not shotguns, but whatever, that sum to, or whatever, get transferred to a disconnector.
Yeah.
Does that exist?
Yeah.
Because this isn't micro, what is this called?
It's a TRS 3.5.
This is a 3.5? The headphone jack, aux cable. Okay, it looks smaller here for some reason. Because this. Literally that. So you set 2 of those up, we'll B-roll that, they're the ones on stands. And then just put that between the 2 podcast guests, aim it like that.
Yeah,
that was a long way to get there, but we did.
Yeah, you could use 2 of these. One loops through and one loops all the way through, and you can do that. There's so many different ways. There's a couple of companies out there that make stereo shotguns.
Sure.
That just are great for doing nature recordings.
Yeah.
Or again, like if you're doing a symphony and you want to set one up, maybe you're doing a wedding shoot and they've got a nice quartet. I could put a little stereo microphone on top of this, record the quartet, just drop it by the floor, not have to worry about gain staging it if they play real loud in the middle of the wedding, and I'm still covered and good to go.
Right. Well, and for those of you who don't know, the advantage to 32-bit float, not talking about gain staging and stuff, is that there's so much. When we talk about dynamic range,
that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of those.
You're the one who knows.
Well, it's one of those things that's like it's. I can get super technical and talk about bits, but in reality, it means if someone gets super loud or super quiet, they're still fine, and I can fix it in post. But there's nothing to fix. I just need to bring the audio back down because it didn't ever clip. It didn't go above the 0 point.
Set it in
and
post.
just like you reset it in post. It's a better term. Yeah.
I use a thing called Vocal Writer.
Yeah.
A lot of time, and so something like that, or what's called automation. I don't know why it's called automation.
We actually have something in here called AI Smart Level.
Okay.
So as you're doing your mic check, it knows your peak and your valley, and it'll set your gain accordingly to try to bring you in the 24-bit space, but you still get the benefit of 32-bit.
Right.
And because we're doing a gain staging, trying to aim for 24-bit, you get the self-noise of a traditional 24-bit system versus the full auto setup of a 32-bit system.
Right.
So you get the top of level kind of recorder, kind of self-noise of the product. So all you hear is the microphone and what it's capturing, and not some kind of hiss from your electronics.
Right. Dude, you guys are doing the Lord's work, whichever Lord you prefer. But yeah, man, I'm super stoked on these. I will definitely need to get a review copy of these and even this. And,
Absolutely.
So, bye.
Bye.